everyone. How are you doing? I hope that you have had a great month and that you are looking forward to June, which is coming up shortly. And this reading is going to be about taking a look into the future, trying to see what's coming up for us in June. This is obviously a general reading, so this is for everybody who's watching this video. If you would like to receive the personalized version of this reading, which is available from my Patreon page, make sure to check out the description box. You'll find all the information you need there. And just a few words about this reading type. It's one of the monthly readings that I offer. I do this reading type for myself every single month for the last 6 years, I think, maybe even 7. And I find it to be incredibly useful, especially if you do it every month. Then you have this context, this process laid out in front of your eyes of how things are changing for you. And especially when you connect it with a monthly, a yearly reading, a New Year's reading, which I also do every time, then it can give you a really complex, a really good overview of what is going on in your life and where you're headed. So it's an incredibly complex reading. It's based on the 12 houses of the zodiac. It has 13 cards in total. And now that I finished the shuffling process, let me just start picking the cards for us. And I'm using the Tarot del Fuego for this reading because I haven't used it for a long time. So, the very first card represents the underlying energy of the month. So there's no house belonging to this particular card. The 12 houses are in a circle around this card. And by the way, when we're doing the annual reading, the New Year's reading, we can also use this same reading type based on the 12 houses. Okay. All right. So the underlying energy in the middle, and this card will sort of influence and interact with all the other cards. So first house. And what I really, really love about this reading is that it simply covers all areas of life, from the spiritual to the material, the love life aspects. And if you have any specific questions, all you need to do is look at certain houses and the cards that are present in those houses and combine those cards. So for example, if you would like to know about your passion in your life, what you should be focusing on, what you're really passionate about, trying to find your passion, then I would definitely be looking at the 10th house, which is the house of Capricorn, and the house of career, And I would also be looking at the 5th house, which is the house of Leo, the house of libido, creativity, self-expression, and possibly also Sagittarius, the 9th house, the house of learning and new perspectives. And like I said, this is a monthly reading, so you can do this every month for yourself, or if you're not familiar with the tarot, you can book this reading type with me, and you can receive a reading like this every month. And then you kind of see a curve, a process throughout the cards in the same house position. So for example, for a while I had only gotten major arcana cards in the 10th house, and everything was going really well. But then there was a break, and that was telling me that I needed to change something. So I really think that this is really valuable, especially if you have a tarot journal, or if you're ready to take notes about these readings. Then you can really find some really, really powerful and useful insights about your life. Okay, 10th card. Ooh, 2 more to go. And I will explain to you what each card and each house represents in detail as we go along. Okay. So let's get started. And like I said, this is a general reading, so you might not resonate with everything I'm saying, but hopefully you will be able to tune into the energy of this reading and receive some useful messages. So we have the King of Wands in the middle, and like I said, this card represents the underlying energy of the month, and it represents the overall atmosphere, and it interacts with all the other cards. Very interesting. Okay. Okay. So we have quite a few challenging cards here, but with the King of Wands in the middle, let me just tell you about the King of Wands first before we get started. This illustration is really, really cute, and it makes it look like it's not that serious with the King of Wands, and that is true to an extent. The King of Wands is not exactly about being stern and strict and serious, but it definitely embodies a very high level of control, a very high level of self-confidence, and it radiates this energy of, I know what I want and I know how I would like my life to be. Kings represent the highest level of mastery of the given suit, and wands represent fire. So at this point in June, you're very confident in your capabilities. You know what you would like to do with your life, at least everything that is going on around you and within you is giving you major clues as to what you should be doing and how you should be able to get more satisfaction and more fun out of life. So the King of Wands to me indicates that even with these slightly more challenging and difficult cards that we have in this spread, there's an underlying certainty, an underlying level of security and confidence in your own story and your own dreams and your own capabilities. The first house, the house of Aries, represents your identity and your connection with your identity. We have the Eight of Cups here, and that is telling me that you're looking for alternative ways to experience and express who you are. The Eight of Cups represents a situation where you're searching for new meaning. You're searching for a different interpretation. So you're not exactly happy with who you are, who you've become, and you're searching for a new truth about who you are. And since it's cups, this is an emotional search. So because it's connected with water. So the main thing to be aware of here is that you might be a little more sensitive than usual, and you might take things personally, and even if they are not meant to be personal, you might get hurt, and you might feel inclined to leave, to exit certain situations because of your ego getting hurt. So that's something to look out for. With the second house, the house of Taurus, which is about material belongings, resources, we have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. And that's telling me that money is not exactly a strength for us right now. The Queen of Pentacles upright would be a sense of growing, a sense of developing and expanding. But when it's upside down, it suggests to me that we're struggling a little bit to keep things afloat, and that's definitely the case for me. Some of you know that I've had some major technical difficulties with my old laptop dying and trying to find a new laptop, so things in that area are not exactly panning out. And so the Queen of Pentacles reversed is suggesting to me that you might be less inclined to share what you have with others. You might be less inclined to offer your help because you think that you yourself are having a hard time keeping things together. So you're struggling at the moment. And it's also a warning not to overextend yourself in any way, because it's not the time. Now we have another 8 here for the third house, the house of Gemini, the house of communication and acquaintances, friends, business. We have the Eight of Pentacles here. That's suggesting to me that you have been working really hard on the way you communicate, on the way you express your thoughts to others. And if you have a business, or if your career or job has a communicative aspect to it, you have been working really hard on trying to improve that side of it. Now, with the fourth house, the house ruled by Cancer, we have the Knight of Wands. And that's interesting because in the middle here we have the King of Wands, and there's the Knight of Wands. And the fourth house is about your home, whatever that means to you. It could be your home country, your home environment, your actual home, the house or apartment that you're living in, and the people you're surrounded by where you're living. So your family or your intimate, close relationships. And the Knight of Wands is suggesting to me that there might be a little bit of rivalry going on with people who are in your immediate environment, because the King of Wands is somehow radiating through you, and it's creating this aura of authority and expertise. And the Knight of Wands is all about questioning that. It's all about standing up to an authority figure. So if you have children, or if you have a spouse that is acting combative, then you know why. It's because this Knight of Wands energy is definitely present in your home environment. It doesn't necessarily only have to be a negative sort of influence. It can also inspire creative change. So if you're, for example, if you're renovating your home, the Knight of Wands is giving you all the crazy ideas, all the best ideas, thinking outside the box and coming up with really unique solutions to your problems. Now, the fifth house, the house of Leo, we have our first major arcana card here, the Wheel of Chance, or the Wheel of Fortune, as it's called in this deck. And the Wheel of Fortune is suggesting a change of perspective in this area, which is the area of creativity, sexuality, libido, your motivation, your basic core motivation, your self-expression. So all those things are in motion at the moment. They might have been stale for a while. I'm getting the sense that that's probably the case, because this card is for the most part showing up whenever there's a change, a rapid change coming. So if you have been feeling kind of out of it and not really ready to create things, not really ready to take risks, the Wheel of Chance is a clear indication that there's improvement, rapid improvement in that area, and that it's influencing your everyday life in a meaningful, important way. Now, with The sixth house, which is the house of Virgo, everyday tasks, routines, health, organizing your everyday life, your diet, your workout, everything that repeats itself belongs to the sixth house. And we have the Knight of Pentacles here. The Knight of Pentacles, another knight, but this knight is the most agreeable and the most calm of all the knights. Knights usually represent this kind of crazy, unruly energy, but with the Knight of Pentacles, we have someone who is ready to gather more experience in a given area. So it's kind of more similar to the page than to all the other knights, and it represents steady, slow but steady improvement and moving forward. But it's also telling me that you should not be expecting any major changes anytime soon. Don't expect any earth shaking results. Just be happy with the small steps that you're taking, and really cultivate these qualities of being considerate and thoughtful, thinking things through, and taking your time with making your decisions in this area, because that's what the Knight of Pentacles is all about. And by the way, the King of Wands and the Knight of Pentacles are a really good match. So this is another strength point here. You're able to organize the kind of menial tasks in your life and the basic structure of your life in a very efficient way. The Three of Pentacles in the 7th house, House of Libra, and it's reversed. So the Three of Pentacles in reverse. The 7th house can talk about two things basically. If you are in a relationship, then it's often alongside with the fourth house speaks about your relationship and about how it's going. But if you're single, then it's about the image that you project into the world about yourself. So from the interpretation of your own identity, your own inner world represented by the first house, and how it's manifesting in the outside world. So the Three of Pentacles is kind of a chaotic, disruptive card. The Three of Pentacles upright, well, in this particular deck, the imagery is kind of strange, but the Three of Pentacles normally means teamwork and coordinating your moves and your activities with others and working towards the same goal. When we have that in reverse, that's suggesting that somebody or more people are not willing to work together. People are going their own way, and there's a lack of harmony and the lack of a common goal that you could be working towards. So that's what the Three of Pentacles is really about when it's reversed. And yeah, like I said, depending on whether you are in a relationship, if you are, look out for those moments where you should be compromising and coming to an agreement, because there might be some friction there. And yeah, and that is to be expected. I could also see this as a breakup coming, but definitely a break in the relationship, a lack of communication, a lack of wanting to work together and work things out. If you're single and this is how you're manifesting your energies in the environment, then the Three of Pentacles reversed suggests that you might give off a vibe of someone who's kind of selfish and is only looking out for themselves, and is maybe not able to present themselves in the best light. So if you want to work on that, and if you want to make sure that people don't misunderstand you, then use the powerful changes that are going on in the 5th house with the Wheel of Fortune to express this 8 of Cups situation that is going on in the 1st house, which suggests that you are in a very transformative period. You're still looking for your identity, and you're in the middle of these huge changes, and you might want to use your 5th house abilities and your communicative abilities here, things that you have been working on, perhaps communication styles or communication techniques. Try to go out of your way to express to your environment that you are working things out and that they shouldn't take things the wrong way, because it's just a temporary situation that you're in. Now, the 10 of Swords in the 8th house. The 8th house is the house of Scorpio, and this is one of the most complicated, most hard to understand houses, but I see it as a center of your spiritual development. So when a card is in the 8th house position, it's telling you about the most important lessons that you're learning at the moment, and about how these lessons are interacting with you on a deep soul level. So the 10 of Swords represents the end of a cycle, and that's something that resonates deeply with Scorpio. And it's about accepting the fact that you have been defeated in some area of your life. So Scorpio is basically, and the 8th house is basically for processing these intense transformative forces that are present in your life. And this card in particular for this position, this house, which is about rebirth and starting all over again, it's very meaningful. So it's telling me that you are shedding your skin, that you are turning into someone else, that you have left your old self behind. And this is exactly why this uncertainty is going on with the 8 of Cups in the 1st house. It's like you have lost your old identity, and now you're no longer sure about what you need to do or who you are anymore. The 9th house, we have the Death card, and that's another clear indication to me that you are in this incredibly powerful transformative stage. And it's lucky that we have, like I said in the beginning, it's lucky that we have the King of Wands in the middle of all of this, because that's suggesting to me that you have a level of maturity and spiritual understanding to be able to deal with this successfully. So you're not just completely lost, you have a point of reference, you have your confidence and your knowledge of how the world works, that if you put certain energies and a certain amount of work into situations, then you will get the rewards. So the Death card, another major arcana card, the second one. There's actually two major arcana cards, if I'm not mistaken, in this reading. And the Death card is in the position of the 9th house, Sagittarius, learning, new perspectives. I use the 9th house as a window to look into what's coming up, even after all of this has cleared. So this is telling me that this will not be a short, temporary thing, this change that you're going through. You will find your way sooner than you think, but the change itself will have a deep, deep impact, a deep effect. And I'm really kind of getting the sense of someone who perhaps is or was in a relationship, and the relationship has changed fundamentally, and now they are facing all these challenges. In the 2nd house, we have the material challenges, and in the area of your career or your job, with the 10th house, we have the 10 of Wands. And that's telling me that you are you have a lot of responsibilities at the moment, so you're pretty much overwhelmed. The 10 of Wands, normally, that's not what it looks like, it's really kind of cute, but the 10 of Wands is about carrying more responsibilities than you are capable of taking. So it really, really indicates someone who is overburdened, overwhelmed. So in this area of career and work, you might also be struggling. You might feel like you're not able to make ends meet with the 2nd house, Queen of Pentacles in reverse. And at the same time, you're really slaving away, and you're putting all this energy into something, and you're just not getting it back. Now, this is a minor arcana card, so this is indeed just a temporary thing. And the nature of reverse cards as well is that they are normally temporary entrapments, temporary states. And the 10 of Wands is going to pass as well. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself. I think that's not really an issue, because we have the Knight of Pentacles in the 6th house position. So that's telling me that you are able to be aware of your own needs, that you can deal with this, but just be aware that there's a challenge here, that things are not supposed to go easy. And another positive sign, I think, is the King of Wands being a supportive presence. So there's a heightened level of responsibilities or a heightened level of pressure in this area, but the King of Wands suggests that it's not going to break you. So that's important. It's not affecting your health, and it's a minor arcana card, so it's kind of like a symptom of everything that is going on a deeper level. The 11th house, the 6 of Wands. The 11th house represents your circle, your wider circle of friends. It's kind of similar to the 4th house in that it represents people who surround you. But it's more to do with the community level. So the community you're in, people who support you or are against you. But I see a lot of support coming from this area. So people are actually respecting you and recognizing your path and your talents and what you're doing as something to appreciate. So there's acknowledgement, there's appreciation with the 6 of Wands, and also a feeling of kinship. These many-eyed strange wolves are kind of like in a pack together, and I have this feeling that this card speaks to kinship, to people in a similar situation, people going through pretty much the same thing, and forming a union, forming a bond based on this. But then again, it's Wands, so it's fire, and it's a minor arcana card, so it's not necessarily about lifelong friendships, but it's about finding alliances, finding associates, people you can work with. And therefore, it's really important that you work on what you're putting out there, as we talked about before with the 7th house. And lastly, we have the 12th house, the house ruled by Pisces. And this house is about your subconscious, about your intuition, about your dreams. And we have the 2 of Swords here. So that's telling me that the trauma of what's been going on is too much for you at the moment. So you haven't even begun to subconsciously process the break that happened, whatever it was, that is now sending you on this path of complete self reformation, rejuvenation, rebirth. And it's suggesting to me that you're not really ready to face certain things, not even on a subconscious level. So even though there's always a chance that you will have a meaningful dream, but now is not really the time to look for clues in your dreams, because, like I said, your subconscious awareness and your subconscious mind hasn't even started working out what to think about or how to deal with this whole situation. The 2 of Swords is all about ignoring and not accepting, not willing to see something that is outside of you. And on the other hand, it can be a great card for your intuition. So you can definitely rely on your intuitive powers. And yeah, so it seems like a difficult and challenging time for you. If you were able to connect with this reading, let me know. it's definitely speaking to me, by the way. I feel like I can really connect with it and resonate with it. So again, if you're interested in receiving a reading like this every month for the period of time that you're pledging on Patreon, check out the description box and check out my Patreon page. And this reading is normally longer than this because normally there are specific questions, and then I can look into the different connections between the different houses and the different cards to find answers to those specific questions. And so this is a reading type that is in the 50 to 60 minute category, and therefore it's $50 on Patreon. So good luck to you. I hope that everything is going to work out well and that you will be able to find a new meaning in your life and a new meaningful sense of identity. And thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.